Sox fans have wanted to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. This is going to be a tough play. It's over. And the Kings have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet. I am your host, Brandon Combs, joined as always by the Soup Boss. Boss, welcome back, buddy. We missed you on Sunday.
Dropping 50s bebop band battle stuff here, but I'll have to join Wayne and maybe try to articulate that with him. But no, I was thrilled to be able to at least listen to it, and hopefully there are no police officers watching, as obviously I was doing about 85 down the highway and texting on it. So we'll ignore that happen. But good stuff. You guys did good, except for you didn't put 42 in the damn top 5. You didn't even have it in the top 10. Like, you son of a bitch.
Look, that's not one of the top 5 baseball movies of all time. So that's why it's
You
not.
said he's not even in your top 10.
He's not even in my top 10. Look, I had a whole laundry list of baseball movies that are better than 42. Look, 42 has a great story to it, but it's just not there. Speaking of 42, we went a day without you, and then I had Wayne on here who was arguing with another show on the RTF network about 12 views is greater than 9. And so I had posted a picture of ours on that same argument that had the 400 plus views. And some people got a kick out of that. But then we had Wayne on the shows, and our views went down by about 445. So I'm glad you're back. The viewers are back. I'm glad we're about to have fun. I'm just joking. Wayne, it was a blast. We had fun with Infinity Sports. I'm always messing with these guys. But, Wayne and Dan do a great job on that show. That is a great show. And so we've got exciting things going on today. We're going to be talking NBA, NHL. We are going to get to our NFC predictions. And but first, we're going to have Ryan Lawliss of the 603 Boys Motorsports and the driver of the 6NH Triple Shot Sports Car. Ryan, how we doing, buddy?
Good, guys. Good. That'd be better, if I could hit a grand slam or something, that'd be kind of cool.
Not a 3-0 pitch you were on. Get out of here.
Oh, no. See, what you got to do is you got to start up 3-0 on the racetrack and then just, zoom past everybody. Speaking of the racetrack,
3 laps ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of the racetrack, how did we do this weekend?
It was the first time out with the car. We were pretty consistent with our lap times. We had some overheating issues, some small stuff that, we kind of might have overlooked due to some major stuff in the shop. So we're not going to let that happen again. I think we were running about 15th most of the day. We showed definitely some more speed, and we got a lot of room for improvement, but we're not going to let it defeat us. We're not going to act like the Texas Rangers and cry about it or anything.
I was just going to say, you're not just going to give up and just hope that everyone else just makes it easy on you and gives you a lap.
I'm going to make some unwritten rules. Some unwritten rules or something,
Hey, man, I've been watching racing most of my life, man. 15th, that's not shabby at all. Like, I think that's something you still need to be proud of. In fact, especially if you had issues that you could get through the full race. Kudos to you. Good job.
Yeah, we're gonna start aiming. We got some goals this week. We got to pick up a little bit more speed. It just seemed like the few issues just kept rearing its head as we started feeling comfortable. So, we've made some phone calls to some friends, some people that have some more experience than us, and they've given us some advice. So we're excited for this weekend. We're gonna head back out. We weren't supposed to be running this weekend, but we're gonna head back to Monadnock this weekend. And then we got I think a handful of races left at Monadnock, and we're gonna do some traveling this fall too. There's some big shows coming up at some different tracks, so we're gonna see what we can do, have some fun, and learn a little bit as we get ready for next year.
Nice.
Ryan, who you got in the background there, man? Is that the grandson there?
No, that's Kyle, who's one of my crew guys, and he's got his kids here tonight.
You got child labor? It sounds like he's like 10. What are you doing?
He's actually 2, but
okay.
Start him too young.
Well, now he's out there like getting ready to hit grand slams. Age of 2 sound like a 10-year-old.
He swings a mad hammer. Okay, he swings that hammer. In there. We had him fixing some stuff the other day, and with a hammer, and he was swinging it pretty good.
The reason why I ask is Ryan's probably got the coolest grandson on the planet. I used to love hanging out with that kid. That guy, he was like 3 years old. He was talking junk to me in the backseat of the car after a softball game, telling me how much I sucked. It was unreal.
Yeah. If you play like Brandon Combs, he'd tell you belong on the bench.
Well, is it
All
talking?
right, Ryan.
Is
So
it
that's all
talking
the time we
junk?
have for this week.
Is it talking junk, or is it just telling you the truth? Was he just a very visual child
He's a
that
very
just
outspoken kid. I'll tell you what.
shoots it straight?
The next time you see him, you got to play cornhole with him. The kid's a stud.
Oh my God.
The kid's a stud.
Yes.
He picked up mini golf last weekend. Got a hole in one on the 16th hole. It's first time ever playing.
That kid is phenomenal. I'll never forget the bat.
Tasty.
We were playing wiffle ball in the backyard, and the bat toss that this kid was pulling off at the age of 3 was ridiculous.
Made Batista look like a little girl.
Yeah. Hey, look, the next time I come out there, man, we're going to have to get together. Or I'll have to have a good time. So good luck at the race this weekend, and join us next week, and we'll have we'll do some more race car talk, maybe have on, and we'll hopefully be able to talk baseball with you.
Yeah, baseball, football, whatever. I mean, it's some good stuff. And, NASCAR just raced at the Daytona Road Course this past weekend for the first time with the Cup Series. They actually did that back in the 70s with the modified division, which is a Northeast division. And they're actually going to be running at Monadnock in 2 weeks, and we'll be there when they're there.
Nice.
That's actually going to be on Speed 51, or no, actually that's going to be on NBC's Sports Pass. So people, I think it's like $5 you can pay for and watch the whole race online, the night of racing online. So I'll get some more information for that. And
Matt Castor says, Ryan, you swing a mad hammer too.
He
that's usually because he's pissed off though, and he wants to hit someone in the face.
And Derek says he wants to see you doing the victory lap this week.
Top 10. Don't put that, Derek. Don't put that pressure on him.
We're looking. I'm with Chad. We're looking at our goal this week is to pick up some speed, cut our pick up about half a second. We're about a half a second off of the front runners, so we want to get a little bit closer to them.
Keep digging. Keep climbing. You got it, buddy.
It's all a work in
progress.
Right?
I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Hey, have a good one, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Put that pressure on our boy. Now he's going to go out there thinking he's going to be Lightning friggin' McQueen. He's going to blow the engine out again. Jeez. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. He wishes he was Lightning McQueen.
I think we all wish we were Lightning McQueen. Come on, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He always gets
I lived down here in Oklahoma City where pretty much all that stuff in the Cars movies from. So driving down the highway doing 85 texting, I am Lightning McQueen.
Derek with the Ricky Bobby. You ain't first, you're last.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you put that evil on me. I did that earlier. So I was in one of those sports breaks, and we had a football helmet, and I actually when they do the random draws, I drew the damn Packers. Luckily, the guy who traded the Bears traded with me, so I got the Bears traded for the Packers. But I told the guy running, and I said, "Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby." You can't do that to me.
I can understand. That'd be like me getting the Jets. I would just wipe my rear end with it and leave and just say I forfeit. I'm done.
Professor Leonard's here with us. Combs' top 5 list are credit to the item he was eating at the time he watched the movie. I think he's talking about our top 5 baseball movies. Hey, look,
a little edibles or
movies on there. 42. Look, 42 is a great movie. It's a great story. I just decided to go, in a different direction. There are certain things that I look for in baseball. To me, it's about what brings out the nostalgia of baseball, and to me,
which I think is funny because you're such a historian of the game, which we're going to get into, but you didn't pick any real life stuff, and I get the emotional aspect of it. But I'm not even going to give you as much crap as the fact that Wayne sat here and gave this whole stupid argument about how we can't put real life friggin' examples on there. And then his number 1 movie is A League of Their Own. It's a true story, Wayne. That was the worst excuse ever. That was terrible.
All right. What's going on, Strikeout Beer? Cheers. Strikeout Beer. Have one for you. I put a little bit too much rum in that one. Holy cow.
There's never too much rum.
Anyway.
Watch your mouth.
True. solo of the game is greater than 42. Just like that's Wayne.
Wayne's on the keyboard. You can put RTF Wayne, but I know what you. Tell me who your favorite 50s bebop band is. Let's get in that battle.
Oh, speaking of which, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we are going to get to some NBA talk, some NHL talk, and then we will certainly talk about that disaster of an apology for swinging at a 3-0 pitch. Man, do I want to sound off about that, and I know Supos is itching too. So
we're not going to talk. It's going to be screaming. Just be prepared.
Give us about 30 seconds. We'll be right back. What's going on, Triple Shot Sports family? This is Brandon Combs, host of the best podcast on the planet. That's the Triple Shot Sports Podcast. Be sure to join myself and Soup Boss Chad Lounder live for 2 hours. Yes, I said 2 hours every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central on the RTF Sports Network Facebook page and YouTube. And if you miss any part of the show, you can hear us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your drive home at 5 p.m. Eastern on rtfsportsnetwork.com. All right. We are back, and it is time to do something that Supos has been asking me for a while, and we are going to talk some NBA playoffs. We got some playoff action, and like I said, look, I wasn't going to watch the regular season.
It's like one game into the playoffs, and you're like, okay, well, let's have a full talk about it. I'm like, we've got like 2 things we can talk about.
But it's the only 2 things that I watched today. I actually watched 2 basketball games today while I was at work. You should actually be proud of me. Look, Orlando came out today and shocked the shit out of everybody.
Biggest upset all year in NBA, plus 1,500 if you had picked them just straight, not even the money line, straight.
And then Miami upset Indiana too.
That's not an upset. Of course, we don't have any records of this because we don't talk NBA on this damn show. But Miami Heat are a team to watch. They find a way to compete against all the better teams. The only thing Miami Heat has a challenge with is the weaker teams. And guess who aren't in the NBA playoffs anymore? The weaker teams aren't there. So unless somehow they face the Magic because the Magic upset the Bucks, then all of a sudden it'll be like their night.
Houston's up 10 on OKC.
They climbed back then. They were down over 20. So
Portland and the Lakers. I saw a funny thing on Facebook the other day that said, if Dame Lillard stays hot and Portland keeps playing the way that they're playing, I could certainly still see the Lakers winning in 4.
4.
So I don't know. I mean, do you give Portland any semblance of a chance in pulling off an upset here? I mean, no, I don't. I'm not saying like a 1-game upset. I'm talking about can they take this series?
Okay, so my favorite player, you and I haven't been able to talk about this, but my favorite player in the NBA is Damian Lillard. It has been. Dame's been the guy. I thought he was a guy that it's the aspect in all sports, right? If you get put on a team that doesn't have a lot of views around the country, especially once you're on the West Coast and it's not LA, you got a lot of challenges you got to face. Damian Lillard, if he was on the Knicks, if he was on the Celtics, even the Lakers or some of these other big teams, he would be a bona fide superstar and a top player in the league. But he would be actually recognized outside of just the basketball fans. Like he would have a face in some way, shape, or form. With that said, he would need to be him, McCollum, and about 2-3 other players playing full press at their best because this is still LeBron James. And he got the player that he wanted to be attached to it. They guaranteed them the first seed 3 games into this postseason. So people, when they did the regular season ending games, people are like, oh, they didn't play as well. They didn't have to. What they're doing is figuring stuff out. And LeBron James is a guy that has heard his whole career, you can't win them all in the finals, and you only get to the finals because you play in the East. What do you think his whole goal of going to LA was? It was literally to prove all the doubters wrong. So the only way I think it happens is if they play their lights out on Portland and it gets into LeBron's head enough Anthony Davis isn't the guy that can scoop that up and take charge. The difference is Anthony Davis is. I don't even think we've seen Anthony Davis play his full potential in LA because he doesn't have to. But if he has to in these playoffs, like we saw a la Kyrie Irving do for LeBron, he'll do it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
do I think there's a chance? Sure. 1.2% chance. The Lakers are going to win this series.
Yeah,
as much as it hurts me.
Your Celtics look good last night, but now they just lost Hayward for 4 weeks, right? They
4
said?
weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks.
You know, so that's a big blow, but I still think they'll get past Philly. They looked really good yesterday, even without Hayward. Like they still look like a team that can, you know, make a run without him, and then hopefully get him back by the time the finals start.
When you just have to ask a guy like Kemba Walker and Brown to just step up a little bit more, that's not a bad problem to have in that aspect. But it still does hurt. It puts a little dent in their armor. But the 76ers already had that. Ben Simmons was gone. And no matter what people think of Ben Simmons, he's part of their success. And you take him out, and he's good, but he can't manage that game. He's proven he can't manage a team on his own.
Yeah,
not that player.
Not at all. And then you had let's see here. We also had who was it with Orlando and
I love seeing you try to struggle through NBA.
I actually put a thing on there. It was Jokic and Gobert, and who you'd rather build around. And I mean, look, those two at the end of the game yesterday, man, they were just going at it. Like it was that was going to be what determined the game. Gobert's defense helped propel them into overtime because Jokic had a chance to win it there at the end. So if you have those two guys, who are you building around?
I'm still picking Jokic, even though that was a big spot for Gobert, and it was a big thing for him to remind people that he is a valuable piece on this team. And remember, you know, I haven't brought him up yet, but the Jazz were supposed to be a garbage team, and they went and drafted this kid that went past the 10th spot in the first round, which no one thought was. His name's Donovan Mitchell, and he's made them successful. And as much as you sat here on the great debate and goes, I don't even know who that is. I hope now with 57 damn points, you know who the hell Donovan Mitchell is. But Gobert, he is a part of that success in Utah, which has kept them in the top 3-4 in the West for a couple years now. But man, Jokic is he's just that. He is, remember Big Country, Brian Reeves, what he was supposed to be? That's what he actually is. And he's not a flashy guy. He doesn't, get in the face of other guys unless it's to defend his players. He is literally a core player you can build around because he's got a good foundation. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He protects his players. But at the same time, he'll go out there and block 10 shots in one game and turn around the next time. And, in today's world NBA, he'll knock down 4 3-pointers at the same time. Like, he is amazing, top to bottom.
Wayne G chimes in. Who's picking Gobert? Jokic is the star. Look, Wayne, I saw them both yesterday for the first time in their careers.
Oh, my.
I thought it was a great debate. And it just turns out that, I just don't know much.
I thought you watched the NBA playoffs. This isn't their first time in the playoffs.
But yeah, I watched the playoffs in when was the last time that the Grizzlies were freaking competitive?
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, come on now.
Jeez.
Anyway,
watching The Last Dance on Netflix doesn't count as watching the playoffs, by the way.
Look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not an NBA guy. It's my fourth sport. I barely follow it, but I do watch some playoffs. I was watching playoffs all day. I didn't even turn on hockey today. I was actually watching NBA basketball today just to try to do some homework, do my due diligence, so I don't sound like a complete buffoon when I come on the show trying to talk NBA playoffs, even though I still sound like a complete buffoon.
I love the last show where you're just like, hey, Wade, I'm going to give this one to you because you know the game of basketball, and I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about this, so I'm going to put you on full screen and give you it all.
Wayne wants to know if I'm taking Walter Payton or Maurice Clark. Oh, fuck you, Wayne. Jared chimes in. I'd like to slap the caterpillar off AD. Go Dame.
Yeah, I would. Hey, Dame's my favorite player. Absolutely love Dame, but
Bjorn Bruckshaw chiming in. I think the Celtics are in trouble now that Haywood is out for 4 weeks.
It hurts. It hurts.
Jesse B chimes in, says Soup Boss with the Bruins playoff hockey beer. What's going on, Jesse?
Gotta go with it, Jesse. Right there. The Bears up 3-1. I actually didn't think it was going to be a shot with the way they went into it. But they regrouped. They look good, and man, they were down 2-0 going into the third when they should have. They should have been up. They had 6 wide open shots, which makes you mad as a fan. Like you literally had one where they were right in front of the net. The goalie's not even facing. And they just whiff it. I'm like, and then they turn around on a breakaway after putting up 7 shots on goal and breakaway 1 off. And I'm like, this sucks. This isn't going to work. And then that Bruins team I saw in the third period. Watch out, NHL, because that's the Bruins team that I know from this year. And if they can keep that going, Halak doesn't have to do a lot behind the net. That's the difference. I talk about you need a hot goalie. But if you can play the way they played in that third period, your goalie just has to keep the puck in front of him.
And Halak's no slouch now. Halak, he was a starter for most of his career before he came over to the Bruins. So Halak's not out of it. I mean, the Bruins still have that capability to go out there and win the cup, even with Halak in net. Yeah,
but you also got to look at the fact that he was once a starter. He wasn't a starter, though, this year. And he's done well the last 2 years backing up Tuke, but he's still back. You go out and see what he did in that first game back. A complete mistake, but he wanted to do it on his own. He had his guy right there. He tried flinging the puck to clear it out right in front. He didn't even have his head up. See the defender right there, glove, open net. And then yesterday when Carolina got their second goal after that huge 7-shot, 4-minute just onslaught by the Bruins, they come back the other way. He's facing it. He's got it on. The guy's going to go the opposite side of the net, and he didn't even come out with his arm, anything. He's still slower than the game is going right now because he needs now that time to catch up. I think he'll catch up, but if the Bruins can do what they did in the third period and be the team we know, it will give him the time to get up to speed where he doesn't need to. Because right now, if the Carolina Hurricanes, I almost said Panthers, Hurricanes, played the way the Boston has played the last 2 games with an onslaught, the Bruins would be done. Yeah. Halak wouldn't be able to stop all those the way that Carolina's goalie, and his name's passed me, which I feel bad because he's a great goalie. They have just easily the Bruins could have double-digit goal scores in a couple of these games, and he's shut them down multiple times. So
let's talk about the rest of the NHL now, because there's a lot of series, man, that are seemingly over unless we have some monumental comebacks, man. So the Rangers are up 3-1 on the Blue Jackets. Yep. Colorado's up 3-1 on Phoenix. That's no surprise there. The Canucks and Blues are actually the closest series, tied at 2.
We got 2 at 2-2.
That one should be close. That one probably goes 7. This one here. The Islanders are up 3-0 on the Capitals.
3-0. I watched the final game of the play-in. The Bruins lost to the Capitals, but I was watching very intently to look at Ovechkin because they're built to not be a full spread-out team. Yeah. He is their offense. Their goal is to find a way to get it to Ovechkin, which he does so well. And that's why he was tied with Pasta for the league in goals before the COVID break. Right. He's just not there. He doesn't look it. I think the break, he either just mailed it in or he relaxed. He didn't keep him up to shape. He's slow. He's not turning his hips quickly. We're seeing what happens if you relax.
But the Islanders, man, came out I didn't see that because the Capitals are still a pretty solid team in the Eastern Conference. And so the way that they've just been manhandled, and the Islanders are up 1-0 already in the first period of that game. So
it's team hockey.
It's one of those where the Islanders are just completely dominating a series that, quite frankly, I thought would be 3-0 the other way around when it started. The Canadians have played the Flyers really tough, but they're still down 3-1. They've lost 3 one-goal games.
They played them really tough in the first game. Carey Price made that just so far the save in the playoffs, but they lost 2-1. And then I was talking to my buddy Corey, huge Canadians fan. We still get along somehow. Yep. But we were texting each other during the game. I was out swimming with my daughter, and he was giving me some stuff. So I kept sneaking to the bathroom to watch some of the game. And you could tell that the Canadians pretty much were embarrassed because they let their goalie down, who made just save after save after save. They lost 2-1. They went on that game. They sure dominated. At one point, they had outshot the Flyers 27-3, insane. And that was in the beginning of the second period. But I just wonder if they just exerted themselves so much that they're still playing tough. But I mean, that last game, you could just tell Philly's kind of taking the breath, and they've gone, okay, hold on, relax. We know what we need to do to win these games, and I think they got this in control.
Yeah. So then the Stars are up on the Flames 3-2 after winning today. And then, my Blackhawks, they're just down and out. They weren't even supposed to be here.
No.
They weren't supposed to beat Edmonton, so I'm happy that they're here. They showed some life finally in Game 4, took that game. Can they win Game 5 tonight? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can they come back and win this series in 7? Yeah, sure they could. I mean, they've still got the core group of guys that won, a majority of the 3 Stanley Cups that they've won in the last, 10 years. And then they've still got a goalie who's won 2 of those Stanley Cups.
Yep.
So they've still got an opportunity to do so. Look, Vegas is just too talented.
They're so good.
They're better than the Blackhawks. They
have the most unknown. Like we talked about Damian Lillard. At least people know Dame. The Golden Knights have names that in the hockey community itself you get missed. When you think of the best players, people just forget about them, and they have like 3 bona fide superstars on that team. Really good, but I mean, to your point, like the Blackhawks weren't. I mean, they weren't even supposed to be in it, but they've shown some fight and everything. But hockey, we talk about it all the time. It's so good. 3-1 in baseball, 3-1 in NBA. Chances are the 3 teams going to win, right? Up 3-1. Hockey's so different. Like you can be down 3-1, no big deal. But that series, man,
if you pay close enough attention to the series, you've noticed that the Hawks are a lot like the Bruins in the fact that they've had a lot of chances that they've just missed on.
Yeah,
they could easily either be up 3-1 in this series or at least be tied 2-2. And they've just missed a lot of chances, and you can't do that to a team like Vegas.
No.
So there's not. I'm not saying that they're dead in the water, and I'm not saying that I would be surprised if they came back. I just don't think that they will. I think
you're not going to put your money on it. You're saying
no, not at all.
Because they play tonight? So
yeah, they play tonight at I believe they got the late game, the 9:30 game.
9:30, and technically Vegas is the home team, so they'll have that home ice advantage.
Jared says, say that to the 04 Sox. Or, Jared, we could say that to the 16 Cubs. Just saying.
Yeah. Right, but that's what I said. It most of the time, it's pretty secure. That's why the 04 Sox was such a huge miracle, and people still reference it. Hockey, teams come back from 3-1 all the time. There's no one being like, whoa, they were manhandled down 3-1.
Winning 4 straight in 04 did not surprise me. Here's why. Look, so in 04, when they were down 3-0, I'm living in New Hampshire at the time. All my friends are Red Sox fans. They're all going nuts. My best friend's sitting there telling me, it's like, oh, they're dead. I can't believe they're doing it to me again. I said, you guys won the first 9 games of that series that season. Like, they were 9-0 against the Yankees in the first, 3 or 4 months of that season when they played them. And so I was like, 4, I mean, they can do it. They've got the team to do it. And they did. I was not shocked when the Red Sox came back from a 3-0 deficit in 04. I was not. I actually told people to calm down, and here it comes. But
we had NFL pick. I was at this church, and we were doing NFL picks, and we had to email them into our pastor, and he still has this email saved. And I sent him my picks, and at the end I said, by the way, you're about to witness the greatest comeback ever in the history of all sports. And I really thought that they had a chance. Now, I'll tell you one thing, that even after Dave Roberts stole that base, I was pumped, but how flat they looked that whole game. Right. I was like, Yankees may come back in Game 5, though, and just decimate it. But when they got to go back to New York with all of that energy, it was different. But what we're talking about right now, see how we talk about it and all the excitement, that's not a shocker in hockey. That's why I love hockey. You can be down 3-1, and they don't go into it going, man, this is, unless there's a miracle. No, you just go out and go, okay, we're going to beat them in the next game. And that's what they do.
We go from a sport where we're talking about comebacks, and we are now going to get into the topic of the day.
Oh, geez.
And last night, Fernando Tatis Jr., who right now, to be honest with you, if I had to redo my list of top 10 players coming into this season, if I had to redo it right now and reevaluate it, I'd have him above Mike Trout right now. The guy is absolutely killing it right now. And last night, they're blowing out Texas at the time, and a 3-0 count. The bases are loaded.
Blowing out.
They were up 7-2 or no 10-2. 10-2.
10-3. 10-3.
10-3. All right, so they're up by 7 in the 7th inning. Okay, so he swings at a 3-0 pitch. It's a grooved fastball right down the middle, and he hits it for a grand slam. And The Texas Rangers take offense to this. Now, not only do the Texas Rangers take offense to this, but his own players are like, I got him, I'll talk to him. Like, what the hell did he do wrong? This guy swung at a 3-0 count, and he stayed hot. If you don't want him swinging the bat on 3-0, put in your sub. And you know what? Even if I'm putting in my sub is swinging on a 3-0 count. I don't care. I don't care what the score is. We're not we're not a team out here that can't come back from 3-0. And if you're the Texas Rangers and you think you're down 10-3 and you can't come back in the 7th inning, you don't have the firepower, you don't have it in you to come back, then get off the fucking field.
Yeah. And their own coach at the end of the game literally said they were a hit or two away from getting back in this game.
Yes.
So they're allowed to be a hit or two away, which you have faith that they can, but the other team's not allowed to. They have to wait to let you come back.
So now if I tell my guy not to swing 3-0 and your guy walks me and walks in a run, are you yelling at me for taking ball 4 too? If I knock a ball down the line and I hit a double down the line, are you yelling at me for hitting a double down the line? If I hit into a double play, are you yelling at me for swinging and hitting into a double play? Shut the hell up and play the game. My job is not for you to spare your feelings. My job is to beat you. And I don't care if I beat you by 100 freaking runs. My job is to beat you, and your job is to stop me. So Chris Woodward coming out today saying, oh, I didn't like it. That's not the game we grew up in. Shut up. Sit back down. Get off my lawn. You are out of your damn mind. He absolutely should have been swinging 3-0. He had a fastball right down the middle. He got the pitch he was looking for, and he took you deep. Tell your little pussy pitcher to throw a pitch over the plate and not get into a 3-0 count and not be down 10-3. I'm sick of this garbage in Major League Baseball where we have these young players coming up into the game. We're talking about all these ways that we're supposed to get young viewers into the game, but we can't swing at a 3-0 pitch. You want me to tell my little leaguer if we're up, 8-0, 10-3, 14-0, you want me to tell my little leaguer that I put into the game, hey, I know, we tell you to swing. We tell you if you get your pitch to swing, but it's 3-0. We're up by a lot. Just take it. No, swing the damn bat. And I don't care if you're a little leaguer. I don't care if you're a minor leaguer. I don't care if you're a major leaguer. Swing the damn bat. And if you're a pitcher, your job is to make it so that I don't hit it out of the ballpark. Make that ball miss my bat. Be a better pitcher than I am a hitter.
And not only that, you turn around and now you have a pitcher that's suspended for 3 games who was trying to do the right thing in defending his teammate because he came in next and threw behind Hosmer because they were mad at it. And he's the one that gets suspended when really it should be the pitcher before getting suspended or the manager and everyone who sit there.
Suspended.
Here's the problem.
The manager got suspended.
He got stupid. Listen, you sit here and you made the comment, get off my lawn. Here's the aspect of that comment that brings something up. Right now, the top viewership in MLB are 50 plus or 45 and plus. That get off my lawn is what all the guys that were on sports radio this morning, all the people who are like, this is the way of the game and everything. They're the ones killing this game. They're the ones screaming, get off my lawn because of unwritten rules. Yeah. I can't stand that stupid statement. It's garbage. And I'll give you a great example as why with the Texas Rangers whole staff, their whole organization. They had a game against the Baltimore Orioles a couple years ago. The end score of that game was 30-3. Okay? Tatis came up in the top of the 8th inning and hit that up by 7. That means they had the Texas Rangers had the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 9th, and their manager themselves said you're a couple bats away from getting back in that game. You had 2 innings. You know what the Texas Rangers of their 30 runs, 16 of them came in the 8th and the 9th inning. Your own organization was out there one day swinging for the damn fences and going nuts. I don't give a shit if it's a 1-1 count. I don't care if it's a 3-0 count. I don't care if it's an 0-2 count. That's the thing. If a Tatis was up there on an 0-2 count and did the exact same thing, he'd be getting praised for being one of the best batters in the game. I'm so tired of unwritten rules. Now listen, what happened if you didn't watch it? Here's the only thing that the manager of the Padres had a chance to say, this is why we talked to him. The pitcher in that game, the batter before, 4-pitch walk. Batter before that, 4-pitch walk. He 8 pitches, maybe 9. I think there's one foul ball that was actually a ball. He walked the 2 guys before him. He then threw 3 pitches in a row to Tatis in the ball. The only way I could see that this would be okay is if Tatis, who didn't look at his third base coach, so that's on him, had looked and they said take, which they said they were doing. And after the game, his manager came out and said, listen, we asked him to take. I know some people are upset. We asked him, though, to take, and he didn't, and that's on him. But I asked him to take just because the way that pitcher was pitching, I figured let's staple on an extra run. It'd be a secure run, right? And then we could come up with the next.
Yep.
But he didn't say that. He said, my player did something wrong, which, by the way, asshole, that's your player. At least the Rangers manager, as much as he threw Tatis under the bus, turned around and backed up his own players and said, they're a bat or two away from getting back in this game. He can't even back up his own damn player because he used to be a part of that organization. It's garbage. He didn't even say it was because I thought they would give us a chance to tack on another run. He said he just did something that was wrong. There's nothing wrong. Yeah. Unwritten means it's not a rule. I'm tired of it. If you want it to be a rule, write it in the damn rule book. If you haven't, what people do, I can't stand it.
There are certain unwritten rules that I'm okay with. Like for every sport has unwritten rules. Hockey,
and they're all dumb.
No, hockey, you don't skate in the crease. What happens if you skate inside the crease after? What do the guys do? They come out and they start shoving and they start fighting over it.
They hit you.
You don't take a shot after a whistle on the goalie. You don't take a shot after a buzzer on the goal. So it's the same thing in baseball. There's certain things that you don't run across the mound. You don't do that. If we catch you stealing our signs, we're throwing at a bat. That stuff polices itself. But it's not a team. But those
are things that they police themselves because of the aspect of the danger to the game.
That's what I'm saying.
What is the danger? What is it? It's so stupid. There's no danger to this.
I'm agreeing with you. Why are you yelling at me?
You get to get a pitch. You get to let the pitcher throw it right down the middle. What's the pitcher going to do then on the next one to make it fair, bounce it out? Is he going to underhand softball toss it?
No.
Let me have that pitch. No, he's going to come out and try to get another strike.
That is one of the
unwritten rules in baseball. Let me clarify. Yeah. The unwritten rules in baseball are stupid, and this is why Major League Baseball is dying. You and I are not the norm. Under 45 that love this game, like there's a couple in Sports Soup, we are no longer the norm, Brandon. We're not. This game is dying. It is dying in front of us, and the 50-plus-year-olds are holding on to it. And when they die off, I'm telling you, I'm not even close thinking this is a bad prediction. The NHL will pass it in viewership. Because right now, if you took the 50-plus year-old people out of the viewership of MLB, I'm pretty sure NHL has passed it. They're the only thing holding on to it, and they're the ones that are saying this is wrong. And here's the other thing. You have a guy, and I know right now in our society, the aspect of race and everything is a little off. And I know we all love Mike Trout, right? But let's be clear here. Mike Trout was a big white dude that could smack the crap of the ball. We've had that for over 100 years. We need to get more kids involved, and the NBA's done a very good job with my minority neighborhoods to get their kids more involved, and that's why there's more viewership. These kids have grown and love it. You need to, as baseball, find a way to get more faces that aren't just the big white Mike Trout dude. You have a guy like Mookie Betts, good, but guess what? He played in Boston, and people hate Boston. Okay, so what can you do? Where's the San Diego Padres? A franchise that doesn't historically do very well, playing in a very hard division. Went out and got a guy for $300 million that's not sparking anything. Now you've got a kid who's a minority who hit that grand slam and was doing back jumps into his teammates, high-fiving them, pumped, screaming, so much energy, and then he had to get talked to, and he's over in the dugout looking like someone just told him that they just gutted his grandma. Then it was disgusting.
The worst part of it all is that he apologized for it today. And look, to me, like, I love what Trevor Bauer came out and said. Keep hitting home runs. Keep swinging at 3-0 pitches. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep bringing fans into this game. Keep being a spark plug. Stop apologizing. That's the only thing you did wrong about this whole situation, Fernando Tatis, was you apologized for what you did, and you did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. And for those of you that did, you're a schmuck. If you think that he did something wrong by swinging at a 3-0 pitch in a 10-3 game, you're a schmuck.
The only thing that an apology is necessary for there is if he had come out and apologized and said, listen, at 3-0, I didn't look down at my third base coach and look at the sign. That's it. That's the only issue. That's the issue because remember, these coaches are still supposed to – if his coach came out afterwards and also said, listen, we want him to take the pitch because that pitcher couldn't hit the plate. It was going to be an easy security run. I know he's going hot, but right now, if we can walk in 3, 4, 5 runs, why not? But that wasn't what happened. They ragged on him for not understanding the unwritten rules. He's apologizing for not understanding. I grew up in the game. His dad was a great player. His dad, by the way, is the only player to hit 2 grand slams in the first inning in the history of baseball. There's the stat for you. He understands the game, but that's the thing. His dad came from an older system where that's understand the game. The game has to change. It is 2020. It's not 1990.
It's got to evolve. And look, I mean,
what brought baseball back from the 90s? You and I have said it.
You can't have an unwritten rule that tells you not to do what the game of baseball is. And the game of baseball is trying to score runs. Yeah. It's seeing the ball. It's hitting the ball. It's raising your average. It's doing all the things that you're supposed to do. You're being fundamental. He was fundamental. I guarantee you, if that pitch was outside or if that pitch was low or if that pitch was high, he lays off it. But it was right down the freaking middle, so he jumped all over it. And he absolutely freaking pooped on the ball and sent it into orbit.
Opposite field, too. It was another great thing. People aren't even paying attention to that. This kid, he's a kid, came up, and that ball was a little off the center. Everyone says right down the center. It was actually a little off, which meant instead of him going out there and trying to force and pull it and popping out, he went with it. It was a beautiful hit. He went with it and went right center field, batting as a right-handed batter. No one even wants to go great hitting.
He didn't pimp it. He didn't bat flip it. He didn't do any of that. Nope. He hit the ball and he ran.
Like he celebrated with his teammates.
That would have been another thing I understood. If he stood there and watched it and then ran, or if he stood there and fucking took a huge bat flip up by 7 runs, then then I don't have a problem with you throwing behind Machado. But just because of the fact that he hit a home run, you're going to throw behind his teammate? It's absolutely garbage.
No,
anyway,
the only thing that I'll add to this is until the other team brings their left fielder in to pitch, which is them literally waving the white flag, you keep hitting, baby. You keep hitting. We need to get kids into this game or this game is dead. Yeah,
absolutely. This happened last year with Acuna about celebrating too much, just let the players play and being excited when they do well.
Exactly.
Yeah, look. And that comes with the other part of the territory. So you got guys like the Braves do this a lot in that organization. I've always applauded them for the way that they run their organization because I remember a young Andrew Jones, who was out in center field and he made an error and he was laughing about it afterwards. And what did Bobby Cox do? He walked to the top step of the dugout in the middle of the inning, brought him in, said, sit your ass on the bench, and put somebody out there who wasn't going to laugh after they made an error. And they did. I remember them doing the same thing with Acuna. When Acuna got out of hand and he got crazy with his celebrating, up huge, and he's still out there, and he's doing stuff.
When you're starting your stuff for not respecting the game in the right way, it's terrible. But what he was doing after he crossed home plate, he celebrated. We saw it in the NFL. They took away celebrations, and what happened? Viewership went down. And when they asked the players what's something that we should do, let us celebrate. We scored a touchdown. That's the point of this game. Just let us celebrate. Yeah. And there's stupid things when defenses celebrate when they're down 30-7 and they pick off the quarterback. Like, don't be stupid. But they brought back celebrations and the teams come up with these choreographed things and it's fun. And now you've got places online that do, hey, here are our top 10 team celebrations of the week because we, the fans, love it.
Right.
Start listening to your fans. And right now, thank God, everyone under the age of 50, it feels like it's on the same page. This was horrible. And do not squash this kid's excitement and what he can be for this game. You're going to lose other young kids right now that will someday be stars in your game, and you'll lose them to the NBA and the NFL because you refuse to let these kids play.
My boy Hoffy, this guy's an unbelievable ball player. This kid was a stud playing. Man, this kid's a ball player here. But he said should have bat flipped to top it off. Hoffy, you are the reason why we fight during beer league softball because that's something you certainly would have done, sir. Michelle chimes in, says not to change the subject or anything, but 12 is greater than 9. And I'm sure Wayne will appreciate that, and she's not wrong. 12 will always be higher than 9.
Hey, Combs,
a bigger number.
400's greater than 12. Just saying.
All right, so we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick timeout, and then we are going to talk our NFL NFC predictions. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Boy, got pockets of change. I'm changed, but I'm coming. Swiped out like diamonds. Snowfall and drip. I just follow you guys. Why you think my name is? Why you think I'm so blessed? Hip hop don't lost the soul. Why you think I'm on next? I've been on the ground and I don't have no time for games. We are in 11th hour. Yup, it's getting late. You can catch me in the kitchen cooking up a plate. Jesus on the way. I can't delay. Too much to say. Dominoes knocking out, so you knocking out dominoes. Wanna know how I know that I'm about to blow? I wanna know how the fuck you do not know the way that I'm dropping shit, man. It's so obvious. This is the opposite of what a hobby is. If you reacting and saying I'm acting, the fact is you back, cause you know that I bodied it. Know that I bodied it.
Isles are up 2-0. Isles are up 2-0, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, they're looking good. Again, that was Mises with Notice. Mises. This guy, check him out. If you have not checked this guy out on YouTube yet, you absolutely positively need to check this guy out because he is unreal. Absolutely.
You know what's great about YouTube? It's completely free, so you can use some great stuff. Plus, you can head over to the Triple Shot Sports podcast page, throw us a like, hit subscribe, help us out. That'd be great.
Alan chimes in, says, "Go Cardinals."
Boy, I saw that he did that when I wasn't on here.
Yeah,
I better win something so I can pay this kid his $50.
Speaking of winning something,
he's gonna end up just giving next year suck. Oh.
We're getting into a with another show on and off the field here on RTF, and they're running a fantasy football league, and they tell Soup Boss that we're going in as a team, as a show. And what does Soup Boss do? He whines and cries to get on his own team.
I was like, "There's no you want you and me to agree on a draft? That team will be loaded with Bears players because I'll be sick of listening to you telling me why every single one of them you would have us somehow be convinced that you actually
quarterback.
You'd be like Mitch Trubisky, even though he's junk, and let's draft Big Dick Nick in the second round just because we should." That would be the first two picks.
Absolutely not. But that's fine. I'll just whoop your ass and we'll talk about it every week here.
Yeah, that's what I said. Give us some good content. Give us the ability to rag. And let's be honest, if you and I aren't against each other, we can rag about how this show is better when you and I are kicking ass.
Absolutely.
Two teams.
Speaking of which, guys, listen, before we get into our NFC predictions, I want you guys to like, share, do everything you got to do to subscribe. Anything you do to help us out, smash those emojis.
We need it.
Anything you got to do, smash that like button, click share on your timeline, share on your sports timelines, share under your pages. I don't care. Share it with your enemies. Do whatever you got to do. Put us up on a post and let us know that you're there. We love seeing from you guys. We love all the comments and the engagements. Jared Parrott says, "Here come the Vikings winning the NFC North predictions." So we are going to start in the NFC
Get
East.
into it.
And in the NFC East, I'm not sure if we're going to agree much like we did in the AFC. We didn't really.
No, I'm telling you, we better make sure we had enough time because I bet you we're not going to agree on a good chunk of this.
So here's what I have in the NFC East, and for all you Cowboys fans that are listening right now, all two of you, I want you guys to go ahead and plug your ears because, spoiler alert, the Dallas Cowboys are not winning the NFC East. I have the New York Giants at the basement at 2-14.
I thought you were about to say you had the Giants winning it, and I was about to shut I was going to shut this thing off and say I'm done. I'm done.
I've got the New York Giants in the basement at 2-14. I've got the Washington, not Redskins
football
anymore.
Team.
I got the Washington. I refuse to call them the Washington football team. I'm gonna call them Washington, not Redskins anymore. I have them at 3-13. I have the Dallas Cowboys at 9-7. and I have the Philadelphia Eagles, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly at 12-4. The Eagles are going to win that division. The NFC East has a pretty difficult schedule.
And they're garbage.
Out of those teams in the NFC East, the easiest schedule went to the Eagles. and the Eagles are coincidentally the best team in that division. They don't have the most talent in that division, but they are the best team in that division. They don't have a quarterback who's on a contract year. They don't have a quarterback who feels like he got shafted by his team. They don't have Zeke, but they have the best team in that division. I have them at 12-4. What do you got, Supas?
Okay, so I thought we were going to see an argue. Are you ready? The Giants, I have 2-14.
Yep.
The Washington Maroons at 3-13.
Yeah.
And I have the Cowboys at 10-6 and Philly at 11-5. We're just a game off. That's it on those two. That's it. No, listen, the Philadelphia Eagles, to me, we talked about it a little bit with Carson Wentz, and people get so mad at me because I don't have him higher, and it's only because he continues to get hurt. But I say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. He potentially is a top 5 quarterback in this league. I'm not saying that he's garbage. I'm just saying until he can get through a season where we don't have to see them going and picking a 40-something-year-old backup quarterback off of a broadcast studio to play in the playoffs, they're going to be just fine. They're more solid, and I know they don't have the superstars like you said in that aspect, but listen, they've got a 2 tight end set that is fantastic. Dallas Goedert is fantastic. I've got him in almost every dynasty league. You see him getting better and better and stronger. It takes some stuff off of Ertz so he can last longer. And, of course, you've got Aguilar and some of these other wide receivers. They got the issues dropping the ball, but they also caught a lot of balls. They're good. They've got one hell of a defensive line. Like, the Eagles don't get credit enough for just how good that defensive line as a whole, not just one edge pass rusher or anything, the line. They shift, they move. If Carson Wentz is off or that offense is off, the defense will keep them in the game. And to your point,
if Miles Sanders is done sucking cow dick.
Listen, he's not top 10 or everything that they were making him out to be on Mike and Mike. But you know what he's going to be? He's going to be one hell of a player. I think he's going to rush for a good 650, 700 yards. I think he's going to catch a bunch of balls in that system. Yeah. I think he's actually going to do well. Not friggin' better than Derrick Henry but he's going to do very well in every way the team needs. It all comes down to this. Philly goes 11-5 if Carson Wentz stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, it's trouble. And I hate it because the Cowboys will win the division.
Yeah. The reason why I have the Eagles at 12-4 instead of 11-5, and I think where we're going to be off is you probably have them losing to Seattle, right?
Yes, I do.
I have them losing to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Washington, 1 game to Washington, and New Orleans. I have them beating Seattle on this. Seattle comes to Philadelphia, and they come to Philadelphia late in the season, and they come to Philadelphia when there's a chance that it's going to be -10 and snowy and not in their element. So I think the Eagles are good enough to pull that one out. So that's where
they play in Seattle. They don't play in Arizona. I get it's not snowy, but do you understand the wind and the cold temperatures Seattle plays in? Russell Wilson starts wearing long sleeve undershirts at the end of September, man.
It's not Philadelphia cold. It's not.
I don't know, man. I think that's a stretch.
From the West Coast to the East Coast. It's hard to pick a West Coast team on the East Coast, just like it's hard to pick an East Coast team out on the West Coast.
I think that's what you do when you pick these. You first found all the schedules of the games that cross coast, and you were like, whatever team traveled, you're like LLL. And you're like, okay, I'll fill around after that.
I look at each game on its own. What other one did we disagree on? We had the Cowboys. I had them losing to Seattle. I have them losing to Philly twice. I have them losing to Pittsburgh.
You have Philly losing to Philly twice? Oh, you're on the Cowboys.
I have them losing to Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the 49ers, Seattle, and Philly twice.
I got them losing to the Hawks. I think the Cardinals are going to upset them. They're going to lose to Philly, the Vikings, lose to Baltimore, and I have them getting swept actually in the season by the Eagles. I think that's going to be a huge thing. It's that Week 16 matchup. I think that's where the Eagles are going to stamp their taking that division.
I have the same thing. So, all right. So that's not bad. We both have the Eagle. We have them in the same exact order.
Can I make a quick note real quick here?
Really off here, though.
What?
We're going to be really wrong here on the North.
Okay, that's fine. But listen, for everyone on the RTF Sports Network, all of our fellow podcasters who are trying to make the claim that if Alex Smith joins the Maroon and Golds, that they're all of a sudden going to be a top 50% division because of him. I love Alex Smith. Great story. He's got a freaking cable and a heart rate monitor attached to his leg today. I don't know if anyone noticed that out on the field. 26 total wins. I have them as the worst total win division. Alex Smith doesn't all of a sudden add 10 wins and put them in the top. And look, everyone that's saying that on the RTF, you guys are on crack. Joshua Seavey and you need to all get together and just take the best drugs ever.
I just found an actual photo of Alex Smith's leg.
I'm sorry, Alex. That wasn't me.
Look. Can you imagine the first time he gets hit in that leg?
Well, that's the thing.
I don't even want to see it. I don't want him on the field.
He's wearing pads today. A, they weren't getting hit. So, okay, he had some weight on his shoulders. B, he doesn't have a pad on that leg. And literally in that picture, I don't know if you saw it, Combs, there's a wire and something on there where I think it's taking care of air pressure or something. Like, it's great he got cleared. I will love if he comes out and all of a sudden brings them to 6-7 wins. Like, it shocks the world. I will love it. It will be it will beat out Gronk for the comeback player of the year. It will be amazing. Yet, that does not make the NFC East top 50% division in this league. That is a joke to my fellow RTF podcasters that are making that statement. Joke.
No, I 100% agree. All right, so moving on to the NFC North, and this is where – I went on Infinity Sports probably a little over 2 months ago now when they were doing their NFC North predictions. And I got a lot of flack for my picks. And so I'm going to let you go ahead and go first this time. And I'm going to let you go with the NFC North, and then I'll get to me.
Okay. So I've got NFC North total of 35 wins just to show that they're better than NFC East. I've got the Lions in the basement 4-12. Listen, this is like the Angels with what I've told you in baseball. Until they don't find a way to lose, they're going to lose. And not only that, I mean, I like Matthew Stafford. I love him coming out of Georgia. And he's so tough. And everyone's sharing this video where it's like the longest uncut video in NFL or something crazy. But it wasn't even from this past year. He broke his back, guys, and then he played the season. Tough as nails. Hockey players are smacking their sticks against the side of the wall like, holy cow. That's amazing. But instead of saying, hey, guys, I got a big problem here. There's something wrong with my back. And them getting him out and saying, hey, we're just going to get him through, get surgery. He played through the season. You don't just jump in off-season form and go through surgery and come back. So that worries me. I've got the Packers third in the division at 9-7. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a fire lit under his rear end, which is going to help him in some games, but it's also going to be demoralizing. We've talked about it. He's got one good wide receiver. He's got a really good running back who I think is more of a product of the system that they play, but beneficial. But that's it. They have nothing else. And they went out and spent all their draft picks on future players. They didn't do anything to benefit the team today. They looked at the future, which you do with some, but you're supposed to pick guys that you could say put out there and be an immediate impact. And I think the whole drama with him in Love, he's going to have a bad game. He doesn't like dealing with that stuff. He's not – Brett Favre at least was just like, yeah, whatever. He didn't like Aaron Rodgers either, but he wasn't carrying on his shoulder. I think they go 9-7. I got the Bears at 10-6. I don't care what anyone says. This Bears defense is better than the Ravens defense. I'll say it. I don't care. And it's going to come down to, and if we want to break it down afterwards, Mr. Combs, they're going to have a point in the season where they're going to have some issues, and that's going to come down on Mitch, and Big Dick Nick is going to come in, and he's going to lead him to a much better rest of the season. I got them at 10-6, and I got, to me, why Cousins is in my top 5 and he was 5th of quarterbacks is because of a team that I think has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger every year. Even with them getting rid of Diggs, they went out and drafted very well at the wide receiver spot. That's the Vikings. I have them at 12-4. I really think as long as Cook, just like all these other players, we say they got to stay healthy. Wentz and all that stuff. If Cook stays healthy, this team is dynamic. They went and got him a backup, and people are like, oh, they're trying to get the guy to take his Cook's place. No, they're trying to get a guy that can give him a breather, which makes him more dynamic in those close games in the fourth quarter, and he can come in and ram it down your throat instead of being exhausted. I got the Vikes at 12-4 and winning that division.
I thought we were going to disagree here. We are a game off with every team in this league. And we're
going to go to the fantasy football championship playing each other, baby.
I have the same exact order. I have Detroit in the basement at 6-10. I'm sorry, 7-9. I have Green Bay at 8-8. I have the Bears and the Vikings both at 11-5, but I have the Vikings beating the Bears by more points in their win over the Bears, giving them the tiebreaker. So yeah, look, the Vikings I have at 11-5. We'll figure out where we have the difference there. Same thing with
too high up on the line.
The Bears. I think the Bears are. Look, I've said this for even when they went 12-4 2 years ago with Mitch Trubisky, I said they're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away from being the best team in the NFC. And even though we had a lot of opportunity to go out and grab other quarterbacks, and we ended up with Nick Foles, and I get everybody's hesitation on Nick Foles does not turn the ball over. He just doesn't. He's a game manager, and the guy can hit a target. That's all we need. I can't tell you how many times last year I watched Mr. Trubisky underthrow or overthrow a wide open Allen Robinson. And how many it probably cost Mitch Trubisky easily cost the Bears 4 games last year, which would have put them at 12-4 again.
Yep.
Just by his decision making alone. The Bears are a very solid team, and these people out there, the Sullys of the world, the Jesse Bissonets, the Wayne Gregoires of the world, they're not watching. They're only watching Mitch Trubisky. Where you have them at 5-11, and where you have them at 6-10, and getting worse, when that defense only got better. And then we actually went out and got a viable backup quarterback who I think, here's the way I think that the season's going to go. I think they're going to stay with Mitch Trubisky. Yep. I think they're going to go into game 1 with Mitch Trubisky. And one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to lay an egg and then come out and lay another egg, and then here comes Big Dick Nick into week 3, and the Bears take off. Or he beats Mitch Trubisky out in the preseason, and the Bears take off from the get-go, and they might even be better than 11-5 if that happens. So I'm telling you right now, you cannot sleep on this team. And call me a homer if you want to. That's not a homer pick. That's a realistic pick. So I can't wait. We have a bet going on with Jesse. Jesse thinks that Detroit's going to be better than Minnesota this year. I don't even without Dalvin Cook, they've still got a stud run game.
You know what? Let me say this real quick with Jesse, because I made it clear on that post, and everyone wondering what's going on. We have behind the scenes as podcasters, we get a page and we talk and stuff. And Mr. Combs and him made a bet where if the Lions have a better record than the Bears,
Vikings.
The Vikings. Brandon's got to wear a shirt with his face all over it, and then Jesse's got, if it's the opposite way. I want to throw one in. I will gladly, if you want to take me up on it, because at first I was like, hey, listen, this is Mr. Combs. It's not triple shot as a whole, but I want to up this up one. If the Lions somehow have a better record than the Vikings, I will also wear a shirt. So you will have 2 shirts right here with Jesse's face. Heck, maybe Wayne wants to get into this. I'll have it with Wayne's face just because he and I love to rag on each other so much. But if the Vikings have a better record than the Lions, Jesse, not only are you wearing a shirt with Mr. Combs' face plastered all over it, so it's looking sexy as hell, I want you to find a nice big fake beard. You got to wear it the whole podcast. That shirt and the beard with a nice curl mustache. I'll put it on the page.
For whatever. If you're taking the Lions, I'll take the field, man. If the Lions beat anybody in this division and have a better record than any team in this division, I'm shocked
you have them 7-9, man. I'm shocked you have them 7-9.
I have them 7-9, but only if Stafford stays healthy. Because Stafford is a good quarterback. He was last year, but Stafford is coming off of a broken freaking neck
and back. That's why I don't have. That's why I don't have him being healthy.
You can't, like, the first time this guy gets hit, he might die on the field. I don't like. He
had those injuries and he played through them, which makes him tough, sure. But think about the fact if you and I broke our neck or back and then we went out and we're like, like redoing our roofs or something like that week after week after week. Like, it's terrible.
Michael Buckmeister, there's always shots at you. You know why? Because you have unbelievable takes. Miles Sanders in the top 5 of your running back list,
ahead of Derrick Henry.
You have the Lions winning the division at 10-6.
And you have the NFC East being the top 50% of the league if Alex Smith takes over the Crimson, Gold,
3
and
teams
Pits.
are coming out of the East. If Alex Smith, whose leg looks like this, that's his leg, Michael Buckheister. That's Alex Smith's leg.
It's terrible.
I
Hey,
had him over and I traced it.
The story with, I'm going to give you my prediction because you gave 2 on the Mitch Big Dick Nick thing. This is my prediction. I actually think Mitch is going to take that role to start. He's actually going to come out pretty hot. I think he's going to do some good things because the beginning of their schedule, in my opinion, is pretty easy. Detroit, Giants, Falcons, Indy. And remember our argument with Indy and Jacksonville, okay? So I have it going good. But then Bucks, Carolina are going to be bad. They're going to be really bad losses. And then they're going to try to have him play the LA Rams, who are going to be an iffy team. And he's going to lose out to them. And they're going to be going up against the Saints next week. And they go, we can't do this. Big Dick Nick is going to come in, start week 8, and they're going to upset the New Orleans Saints. They're going to upset the New Orleans Saints with Big Dick Nick at the helm.
There's no way that Ryan Pace lets him come out that hot for 4 games and then 2 games later replaces it.
When they get utterly destroyed and get embarrassed by the Rams, they will.
Ryan Pace loves this kid, and that's the only reason why I think he comes out as a starter. I think.
What do the fans say?
Coaching staff. I think if you leave it up to the coaching staff, I think you don't even start the season with Trubisky. Trubisky probably gets cut if you leave it up to the coaching staff because there's no way you could look at this guy and
what do the fans say
and say he's a starting coach. The fans are going to say a lot, but you said it yourself. They're going to be on the road. The fans aren't going to say much.
But the fans are going to lose. I'm not saying they're blowing out these teams in the first 4 games.
Look,
they're either going to be okay, but what's going to happen is they're going to get embarrassed in those 3 games. And especially Carolina, who was a bad team last year, they're going to get embarrassed. And the Rams, who are expected to not be a good team, they're going to get embarrassed. And that's going to be enough that the Chicago faithful, you guys are going to lose your ever-loving shit and threaten to commit suicide off the top of Sears Tower unless they change it. And there's no way if they get embarrassed in those 3 games, they're going to let them walk in the Saints with Mitch doing that. And Big Dick Nick is going to put his cape on and throw out his Super Bowl over the Patriots flex. And he's going to go up there and upset Drew Brees and the Saints.
Sears Tower is now Willis Tower, by the way. I changed the name of it a few years back, but
none of us go to the office anymore. We all work from home. It's an empty at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now we get into the NFC South, and look, I thought we were going to disagree on the NFC North. We may not disagree here on the South either. I don't know. So in the South, I have Carolina at 7-9 in the basement. I have Atlanta at 8-8. I have New Orleans at 11-5, and I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 12-4. Tom Brady's about to play with the best receiving core that he's ever had. They've got a really good offensive line. They've got a really good defense. This team is going to go out there and they are going to – they might even be the first team that hosts the Super Bowl because they are – I mean, they're going to be good. And I get all the haters out there. Actually, I don't get all the haters out there, but I know there's a lot of haters outside that, you know – they don't like Tom Brady. He's a system quarterback, blah, blah, blah.
They're old. I get that from Mike and the team. Oh, they're old.
Did you hear him throw shade at Bill Belichick? Did you hear the interview?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. They're old, being an old, decrepit team. And then when I say Godwin, he doesn't even have an answer. He just goes, oh, they're old.
So Tom Brady went out and was asked, you know, how's it feel playing in a different system other than Bill Belichick's? And he goes, well, for the first time in my career, I have an offensive coach.
No.
and he just starts laughing. And look, he's right, though. He's got an offensive-minded coach. He's got the best receiving core that he's ever played with. They've got a solid run game. They've got a good defense. This team is going to go out there, and they're going to dominate this division. They're going to be 12-4. New Orleans right behind them at 11-5 because they're still a good team. I think it comes down to their late season game against one another, which I think Tampa Bay just comes out on, and then Atlanta at 8-8 and Carolina at 7-9. So how far off are we?
First, let me just say that that's why Bill Belichick fought to keep Josh McDaniels. He lost him once, realized it bothered Brady, and then when McDaniels was supposed to be the coach of the Colts, Belichick was like, "Oh hell no, this ain't happening," because he's right. And there's nothing wrong. I'm glad Belichick's not an offensive coach, but that's why you have. I'd shut up, Mike. I don't. Nick sucks outside of green. All your predictions suck.
Philly.
All right.
Predictions suck.
So we've got a flip in position on 2, and it didn't actually shock me when I heard your absolute love fest for Julio Jones the other day, and you discussed to me. I have Atlanta at 6-10. I know they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I'm a big Matt Ryan fan, BC, everything like that. That's great. That defense is still weak. It's still got holes. What's his face, Quaid, the coach? I mean, ever since the debacle of getting beat, that was a turning point in his career. He has literally taken that 28-3 defeat, turnaround by the Pats against them, and it's just gone the opposite way. Ryan's getting older. Like I said, he's still a good quarterback, but he's older. He's another year older. Julio's another year older. It's good they got Calvin Ridley. We don't know what we're going to get out of Gurley. I think he'll do okay, but I don't think he's going to be explosive like we know Gurley to be. So I have them 6-10. I have Carolina actually at 9-7. I think there was a reason, and I beat this drum with you constantly when we have the Jameis Winston thing. Carolina was sitting there with Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, other players that didn't do very well as a whole for a team, but had good players in there, including one of the most dynamic running backs and players we may have ever seen. And they looked at who is available, and they sat here and watched a guy that threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns to some great players. And they saw a guy that walked in for 5 games to back up Drew Brees, who didn't throw up big numbers, but he managed the game. He understood when to throw it away. He understood when to throw it away. He knew how to make audible shift calls. He knew when he was going to get sacked and just get down on the ground. He understands the whole aspect of the game to be smart. And they said, that's what we need. We don't need someone that's going to come out here and fling it. We need a game manager. And I think Teddy Bridgewater is also potentially, even though he's not a comeback, something. He's going to get some type of award for just coming back into this league and actually leading the team to above 500 record. I think Carolina's going to be 9-7 because he managed the game. And then I have the Saints at 12-4 and the Bucks at 13-3. So I have a 12-win team not winning their division this year. And I would like to say to you, Mr. Combs, we've had this debate, and I talked about the divisions and the last 10 years, which I stand by. That's all research about why the NFC West is better. And we talked about way or no way, I think like my first or second episode on here. And I said the NFC West was better than the NFC South. And I have a 40-38 win difference going to the NFC South. So, sir, I apologize. I said the NFC West would be better this year. And by my own record and my own picks right here, I was off by 2 games. I was wrong. So the NFC South, to me, will be the best division in football with a 12-win team not even winning that division.
So the reason why I have Carolina at 7-9, but they have a tough schedule outside of, even in the conference or the division is a tough schedule. But
yeah,
outside of that, so I have them losing, they lose 1 game to each division opponent. They split with each divisional opponent. And then I have them losing to the Bears. I have them losing to the Chargers, who are better. I have them losing to Kansas City, who are better. I have them losing to Minnesota, who are way better. I have them losing to Green Bay, who is, let's just say, Green Bay is a better team than Carolina.
How are the Chargers a better team? What is it with you and the Chargers?
The Chargers are a better team. They're a better team.
Tyrod Taylor's their starting quarterback, and nothing against Tyrod, who's come in and helped some teams out before, but he always gets replaced. Why? He's not a full-time starting NFL quarterback.
Look,
they lost their number 1 running back.
I still think that the Chargers are a better team than Carolina right now. I think that Kuechly loss puts a big hole in that defense. I really do.
It hurts. Sure, it hurts. But they went out and drafted really well in the defense. That was their whole focus. They drafted defense.
I don't know. I have Carolina down. I have Atlanta. I have them at 8-8. I have them losing to Seattle. I have them losing to Dallas. I have them losing to the Bears. I have them losing to Green Bay, Carolina, Tampa Bay twice, and New Orleans.
So you have a lot more wins later in the season, which shocks me because I have that. What you just said, the first 4 games, I have the same. They're going to start this year 0-4 and be sitting behind the other 3 teams at 3-1 in my predictions. Now I got them beating Carolina in week 5, but then losing to the Vikings, beating Lions, but then losing to Carolina and Denver. So they're going to start the season at according to my prediction at 2-7. I just don't see them at that point. We've seen it with Atlanta. If they start hot, they're a good team. They don't start hot. They don't find a way to pull out of it. Now, I obviously got them going 4 more wins the rest of the way, including a huge upset the last 2 weeks. One, because it's not needed against the Bucs. I think it's going to be a game where Brady and Gronk and some of those guys that are older, Mike, they're going to need the rest because I think they're going to lock in that seed, the number 1 division aspect. But I have them actually upsetting the Chiefs in week 16. So it's not like I'm saying they're hot garbage.
Right.
I got the same, but I've got them starting so crappy too. How do you have them muscling through the rest of that season to come? What did you have them?
I have them at 8-8.
That's 2 games off me. I thought you had a 9-7. That's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world.
And I have Carolina. You've got Carolina 9-7. I got them flip flopped. I have them at 7-9.
So we're not far off.
No. So
I thought there was going to be a lot more screaming in this segment. This is the peaceful hour talk with Mr. Combs and Seacross. Think of the happy little trees we're painting right now.
All right.
But this is a division where we're going to have some amazing things happening.
I don't think so. In the West, I have Arizona at 7-9 in the basement. I have the Rams at 9-7. I have San Francisco at 10-6. And I have Seattle at 12-4. Seattle is just the cream of crop in that division. They have the easier schedule out of the 4 teams for sure. And San Francisco at 10-6, still they're going to have a good year, but they've got some tough games. I think they're going to be a little bit worse than they were last year. I don't think that they're going back to the Super Bowl. I think they had an amazing run. I think a lot of teams really. I think the Super Bowl exposed Jimmy G, to be honest with you. And I think that
exposed that defense.
Yeah, well,
the defense is good, but they found all of a sudden ways to get exposed.
Right. And look, if you hang around and you're in close games against the San Francisco 49ers, I feel like your chances are better than theirs. Because I feel like Jimmy G is one of those guys in a close game is going to make that big mistake. And I feel like that defense is going to give up that big play. So I like them. I love George Kittle. I think that they are a really good, solid team. They're going to be 10-6 this year. But I don't have them win the division. I have Seattle running away with that division. The Rams are close at 9-7. Look, I just can't. I can't put them any higher than that as much as I wanted to. I wanted to give Arizona a little bit more credit than what I'm giving them. But they're a 7-9 team. Even with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, they don't have much else. And I'm not even sure if Kyler Murray will be able to see DeAndre Hopkins over the line of scrimmage.
That's my joke, man. That's my joke.
He's 4'4". Like I don't understand how people are so high on him. I guess we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, He's
not a pocket passer. He's in East-West, but that's why I said DeAndre's not going to get as much because he's going to hit Fitzgerald underneath because he's going East-West. He's not going to lay that out to Hopkins going deep as much.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you got?
Okay, so we're off a little bit, but I'm going to go through this here, and then I'm going to come up with a little bit of prediction after I give you your records, okay? I have the Rams at 5-11. I think losing Gurley, even though they didn't really have him, but it really disheveled the whole system because they were hoping for him to come back. They were holding. I tell you about it with the Red Sox. It hurts the Red Sox when Chris Sale is like, he could be coming back. He's going to be pitching. He's in pot. Oh, he's going to do a game. No, he's going to go back and do a 5. That was the whole thing with Gurley. And I think it left them in a place where they didn't go out and get any additional help in that area. I think Goff got exposed a little bit last year. I think they got to see some weakness in him. Shocker, me as a New England Patriots fan, Cooper Kupp's one of my favorite players, a white wide receiver, shocker. But I think it's going to be something where a lot of defenses can, because they traded away Woods. Cooper Kupp is is a slot receiver. He's a slot receiver that has the option to be an outside receiver when necessary, but he needs to switch. They're going to try to make him the outside receiver. He's not an outside receiver all the time. They really are weak on offense. You got to be able to hang up points, and I just don't think they do. And as great as Darnold is, and that defensive line is a stellar defensive line, they're going to get tired. And come third, fourth quarter, I think you're going to see them in close games, and they're going to lose it because the defense is going to do all they can to keep them in, get tired, give up a game, and that offense can't come out and do. Do you trust Jared Goff going down the field in a 2-minute offense with this current offense and winning?
I think you're sleeping on Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers is a really
no.
good
I'm not.
back. I think he's gonna be better than what Gurley was for them because he's not going to be as injured and as much of a bitch about it as Gurley is.
No, I'm not sleeping on Akers. He's a good running back. It's just I don't trust that offense in the 2-minute. I think that's what the thing. I'm not saying they're going to get blown out of these games. I just think I can't trust them with the aspect that they trade away Woods and they didn't go out and get anything. They hung around too much on Gurley. I get Akers is good, but they really if Gurley came back and was like, I'm 100%, they would have probably traded away Akers. They would have been like, see you later, because they were so sold on it. But anyways, I've got Rams at 5-11. I got the Cards at 9-7. I'm sorry. I watched as a Texas fan what Kyler Murray could do. I don't think he had nowhere near as good as a rookie season as a lot of people do. But I've said it to you. DeAndre Hopkins makes you better. He does. Okay. He makes you better. So that's what's going to happen. But like we just talked about, I think what's even more amazing is that you're going to have a Larry Fitzgerald who's out there just running laps around his teammates still at 135 years old. They're showing training camp pictures. Now you've got a guy that Larry Fitzgerald doesn't have to worry about being number one. He doesn't have to go deep. He can actually manage the middle of the field on cross routes and quick slants and quick and in and outs. And Larry Fitzgerald is going to probably have the most fun he's ever had outside of the Super Bowl year with Kurt Warner. But there's still going to be mistakes. Kyler Murray's still going to be mistakes. I think they're going to excite some people and they're going to have some upsets, and people are going to go, oh, this team could win 11 games, and they're going to have some bad games. But I got the Niners also at 10-6. I'm not going to say anything about them because I think you're dead on with every aspect of it, top to bottom. And then I have the Seattle Seahawks. We've got what? We've got the Bucs with 13 wins, the Saints with 12 wins, the Vikings with 12 wins, the garbage NFC East, but Eagles with 11 wins. I have your Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, and
your MVP Russell Wilson at 14-2. The Seattle Seahawks have bettered their offensive line. They've kept the core to their defense. They've worked through a couple different things to go out. They got Adams out of New York. That team mirrors, but they're short one position at running back, but they don't need one guy to do it. They can make Penny and Carlson separately run the beast aspect with that running back. And this is a team that mirrors some of those dominating Seahawks teams we saw a couple years ago. And I think they're going to pull up some big games. They're going to win a lot of close games. I have them at 14-2. Your number one seed in the NFC, yeah. Russell Wilson as the MVP.
Yeah. So look, I don't hate you for that. Look, the Seattle losses.
It's only two games off of yours. Yeah. That's the thing.
I have them losing one game in the division as to the Rams. The other three games that I have them losing are all on the East Coast. I have them losing to Miami, Buffalo, and Philly. Miami's one of them sneaky hard places to play in, especially coming from the West Coast because of the way that they have their sidelines are sitting in the sun during the Miami heat and all that other good stuff. They do have some home field advantage there, even if there aren't fans in the stands at the time. It's a tough place to play, especially West Coast to East Coast. Buffalo's a really good team, and when you're going West Coast to East Coast, I really can't pick a really good team. And same thing with Philly. Those are three games. Miami's the only one that they should win that they might lose, and the reason why I think that that's a letdown game is because I believe I have them beating New Orleans the week after. I think it's the week after, if I remember correctly. Looking now, no. I have them.
Say they don't play the Saints.
They're sandwiched between the Cowboys and the Vikings, and they have the Dolphins. So I think it's a trap game, and it's on the East Coast. So. That's where I have their but I wouldn't be surprised if they're 14-2. I'm not mad at 14-2. Same thing with San Francisco. We both have them at 10-6. I'm not even mad with your Arizona pick. I even said that I was looking for a reason to have them better. I'm just not as high on Kyler Murray as other people are. And even, like I said, even with DeAndre Hopkins, I just don't. Kyler Murray to me just doesn't strike
That
me
defense,
as
the defense is good, and they've
NFL
gotten
quarterback.
even better, man. The defense is good,
Yeah.
getting even better, which means he doesn't. When you take the pressure, and he did good in his rookie season. Again, I don't think it's as good, but when you take that pressure off him by giving him, to me, the best wide receiver in the game, and then your defense is really good and out there creating turnovers, he doesn't need to freak out so much, and he can work on the things they're trying to teach him. And when you've got a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins there to teach you, I think that's win-win, man. I think that's win-win. I think they're going to be sneaky good. But if you listen to our predictions, which we'll go through here for the playoffs, that doesn't put them in the playoffs though at 9-7. Where in the AFC, I had two teams fighting for 8-8, and I don't even remember who I had.
It'll be a down year for the AFC for sure. Yep. So we'll do our playoff predictions here on Thursday. So stay tuned for that for sure. We are going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Way or No Way. So stay tuned.
But there's something you don't know about. Life trying to make change. With straws trying to take me back to the old me. This in high school, you don't know me. No, all you just troll me. Got so. I'm still dreams of the sun. Can you hear me? I'm still dreams of the sun. Can you hear me? I'm still dreams of the sun. Can you hear me? I'm still dreams of the sun. Can you see me? Know about things, 'cause I know a whole lot. I fight him in my sleep all the time, speaking time, wake me up at 3 o'clock. So what's that tell you? Think it means that I'm going to hell? Do hell no, it means I'm a threat to him. So I suggest that you listen real close to what I tell you. 'Cause I ain't gonna be here long, but you can always hear a song. On myself while I try still when I write this. Hit straight to hold on. Struggle for so long, I don't even know what peace feel like. My dreams died, this is real life. Tears in my eyes, looking at the ceiling like.
All right, again, that's Mises. Look, that guy, that song there, man. Look, we all go through stuff, some more than others for sure. But if you ever need someone to talk to, definitely go out there. I know a lot of my brothers and sisters, military members, struggle with PTSD. We lose way too many of them. 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. And I mean, it's just, it's too much. We've got to do better for our veterans. We've got to do better for people that are struggling with stuff like that. And that song right there, man, that hits home because I know myself, even though I don't struggle with depression, man, I've been through some stuff in my life, and some of that stuff is self-inflicted and some of it's through decisions that were beyond my control. But it's still, man, you struggle sometimes. And sometimes music's the way to lift up. And Mises, man, he does an amazing job at that. So definitely check him out. And all right, so we are going to get to our favorite game, which is Way or No Way. Boss, I know you love this game.
at least we don't need to deal with kind of way. Congratulations, Wayne. You didn't talk yourself into a kind of way. I was waiting for it.
Game on.
All right, so you guys know how this works. We do our little intro, and then we have a saying, and we give our answer whether we feel that the statement is way or no way.
No way. Yes way.
Can't wait for that movie, baby. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. So we just had on Talk Soup an interesting post in which you asked, could Brian Urlacher in his prime handle taking down Derrick Henry in his prime? And look, we got into a debate because some people started saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be better if you're talking Ray Lewis, blah blah blah?" I said, "Sure, if you're trying to figure out who's better at hiding bodies in a trunk."
Oh,
But
jeez.
look, Brian. So the first statement in Way or No Way is Brian Urlacher is a top 3 middle linebacker of all time. And this is absolutely Way. For me, he's top 3. He's not third or second. He's first. Brian Urlacher was a ball hawk. Brian Urlacher was always on the ball. He could strip the ball. He had hands like a wide receiver. He was sneaky fast. He probably could have played safety and still have had the same career that he had as a middle linebacker. Brian Urlacher was an absolute stud. And him versus Derrick Henry one-on-one, I'm sorry, but Brian Urlacher is going to get the better of Derrick Henry there, and he's going to be able to stop him and take him down. That Bears defense, and when Brian Urlacher and you had Lance Briggs on the other side, forget it. That Bears defense could absolutely contain Derrick Henry, and Brian Urlacher would be a big piece of that.
Okay. Once you get your Chicago Chubb down just a little bit here, man, okay? So just relax. But I'm going to tell you why you can get it back up, even though you're going to hate me with this stuff. Listen, with the Derrick Henry post and everything, I think you flip a coin sometimes because I think there was times that Derrick Henry could do it. I think it's a disgrace to ever think that there's not a chance that Derrick Henry, which we have both toted up and down, is not to cut away from Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher was everything that you said he was, 100%, like especially ball hawk. I remember watching so many games and watching as he's bringing a guy down and wouldn't even be facing him the right way. He's still found the ball and he's ripping it as they're coming down full force to the ground. He's not even the best middle linebacker ever on the Chicago Bears, though, bud. And I know you grew up watching him. He's fantastic.
Dick Butkus, I know, Dick Butkus.
Dick Butkus is by and far the best middle linebacker the Chicago Bears have ever had, and probably or potentially top 1 or top 2 ever. And not only that, Mike Singletary. I mean, it's a rich history. Brian Urlacher is sitting with
Urlacher is better than Singletary.
I think Urlacher and Singletary is about the floating spot for me. I think you get there's the way people could come in and start throwing tomatoes at each other on both of that. And I probably would be on your side a little bit there. I think Urlacher is a little bit better than Singletary for sure. But Dick Butkus was the better middle linebacker. I mean, no one could dominate in a way that he could. But here's the other thing. Jack Lambert on the Pittsburgh Steelers, have you ever watched things on that man? That is just impossible. He was the steel curtain. We had all the other aspects of what the steel curtain was. He was the steel curtain in every way, shape, or form with it. And so you put top 3. I can't put him at top 3. Is he top 10? Oh, hell yeah. Is he top 5? He's floating right around there to me. He really is. And what an amazing history you have for your Bears as a fan for that team. It's such a rich, to me, a position that as a Pats fan, we saw the change of guard and what it was when Teddy Bruschi started coming in that time of football. They were already doing that in Chicago for decades.
Now
amazing
stuff. Only get a
but
fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
We've never had one. Name one good quarterback the Bears have ever had.
McMahon, baby.
McMahon wasn't even a good quarterback. Yeah, he was a quarterback who won based because of his defense.
No, I know. Jay Cutler.
Never
Come
had.
on, man.
No, give me a break. Get out of here with Jay Cutler. Never.
And I'm sorry, man. I know we talked about the whole body stuff thing, but Ray Lewis, man, was just a dynamic middle linebacker. I mean, he really was. So.
He wasn't better than Urlacher, though. And I'll argue that to the day I die. He was not a better linebacker than Urlacher.
Yeah,
he didn't have the hands Urlacher had. He didn't have the vision Urlacher had. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Look, all right. So moving on, sticking with the NFL, you also had another interesting post that said that the NFL, if college cancels the season, is talking about games on Saturday. And here's where Way or No Way gets heated. NFL on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is going to be epic. What says you, Soup Boss?
Now you can already tell, baby. This is going to be way 100%. And listen, I'm an NFL fan who sits here and talks about the fact that the NFL dropped the damn ball with Thursday Night Football. Want to know why? Because they gave us every jack shit potential game that they could come up with every week. But the NFL has been doing something different this year. They're going out and going, everyone else is in trouble. We've talked about this. What can we do to literally put the blade into the back of all the other 3 major sports and just literally ensure that we are the most dominant thing that is in all of sports next to this premier soccer league worldwide. And that is to absolutely make sure they do everything right. And if the college football has a challenge, these students start coming back, and you see COVID spikes and everything, and a couple weeks in, even the Big 12, SEC, and the ACC go, crap, guys, this isn't going to work. The NFL is going to go, quote my girl Gwen, bananas. They're going to go nuts, and they're going to be smart with it. They're not going to just throw you your shit games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They're going to make sure that think about how many times it's going to hurt things like Red Zone for sure, because that benefit of Red Zone was you got all the great games going at the same time. I don't know which one to watch. It would have all the scoring. They're going to spread out these high-profile matches. It's going to piss off the players for sure, because they're already bitch about Thursday night games. But they're going to spread out all these dynamic games so that you almost have a high-profile matchup every single day of the week. So it's not that I didn't think last year if they tried doing it, they would drop the ball. But what they're doing this year, Thursday through Monday, they will make sure if that's the way they go with it, that they will have a great matchup every week, that we are happy every single day. Go give me your crap.
You have lost your mind. This is absolutely a no way. Look, the Thursday night games are already garbage. The first thing I do with my fantasy teams is I look for the guys who are playing on Thursday night and I bench them. Because the guys who are playing on Thursday night are going to have an awful game. They don't play well. They don't play well on short rest. Okay, and now games on. I'm fine with Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You want to keep it a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that's fine. But they should have scrapped Thursday night football years ago. And Thursday night football needs to go. I don't want to see football on Fridays either, just because the competition is watered down. You're giving these guys short rest. You're saying go play out on Saturday or Sunday and then come back. And so the same two teams are going to play every Thursday?
You're missing it out. It might not be the same two teams every Thursday, but where you force your handcuff in with Thursday night football alone is that pretty much you have to have a team that guaranteed that has played Sunday, and they wouldn't do Monday, right? Obviously. But no matter what, the team has played Sunday. Now you can have your Thursday ones be teams that played on Saturday, Friday. You can literally make this where you have more of the week spread out, where now the rest may not be 7 days, but you get 6 days. You get 6.5 days, depending on if it's a day or a night game. You don't understand, by opening that up, you allow the chance. And this is they literally pay people to just sit here and nerd out and look at all the aspects of all the schedule.
All right.
They're going to now be able to. It's going to make it better, because instead of it being no matter what, if you play on Thursday, you're screwed. You have 4 days of rest. So now Thursday, you may have 6 days of rest.
If you're giving me like Chiefs in Seattle on Thursday, and then the following Friday you're giving me Chiefs and you know, whoever, New Orleans. If you're doing stuff like that, then maybe. But even then, I just it's not. I don't see it working out. I really don't, and I don't think Thursday and Friday night games are going to be good. I just history has shown us that they're just not that good. The Thursday night games are just not that good. I think
because they scheduled garbage.
Probably had about 5 really. No, they've had some good matchups on there that just they just don't 10%, score.
10% of the games.
Nah,
look at that Thursday night with Derrick Henry and the Titans against the Jaguars. That wasn't a good game. It was a good Derrick Henry highlight reel, right?
They were playing the freaking Jaguars.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a good game. I'm telling you, it haven't been good matchups. They made sure they're not good matchups. They did that on purpose because they already got the deal, and they knew that Sunday was the game for everything. Thursday was never meant to be exposed as a big, huge game. It was just to toss in more advertising money. Now, when you spread it out and you can rotate it where you got teams going 6 days rest or 5 days rest instead of 4 days, that's a huge different ball game. Players are still not going to like it, but you can line that up so much differently.
I'm fine with Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't want to see Thursday. I've wanted Thursday night football to be, and I love football. I love watching it. I love the game, but the competition has just been so watered down. So I don't think Thursday and Friday nights are going to be good, but
you're just old and hate going to work Friday morning tired because you stayed up and watched the game.
Nah,
they're all crap games because you sit up and you watch the games.
And I'm in Central Time this year, not Eastern Time, so I don't mind the games now. I'm starting at like 5 instead of 10.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we got some UFC worked in here, baby. You excited for this?
Yeah, damn right.
John Bones Jones releases the light heavyweight belt today, and he is presumably going up a weight class
I hope.
and not retiring. So if he goes up a weight class, does John Bones Jones is the greatest light heavyweight to ever step into the octagon?
I mean, I saw this and I went over and over and over. I love the sport, but I've told you I'm not one that is deep into the grand shadows, even though Julia Avila is an up-and-coming star. If I catch on someone I like and I get a couple fighters I get behind, I love it. But I went back and I've watched most of it, though, to go back, and I looked and looked and looked. And I'm telling you, the dynamic of him handing over this belt. I'm hoping it's not a retirement or there's a disagreement with Dana White or something weird, because he kind of just stated, "We'll get off the phone and I'm going to relinquish them." He didn't say why. I really hope he goes heavyweight, because I couldn't find a heavyweight person. There were a lot that were close, but I went through every list just to make sure my 80% UFC brain wasn't missing someone in the 20%. I couldn't find it. I think John Bon Jones is going to be the greatest light heavyweight fighter, because if he didn't give it up, I don't know if you'd bet against him over the next 3 to 5 matches. And he's already dominated since in the last 7, 8 matches. He's insane. He's so good.
It's a shame that he can't stay out of trouble, because I agree with you.
That's true. That's true.
The greatest light heavyweight of all time, but he just can't stay out of trouble. Probably could have been better, and his legacy would have been better. Yeah. A lot of people, when I started talking to people who watch a little bit more UFC than I watch UFC. I love UFC. They put on a great product, and GSP is probably one of my favorite fighters of all time. I love watching that guy fight, and I love Georges St. Pierre, but. A lot of people, a couple of the guys throw out, well, what about Anderson Silva? Anderson Silva was a great middleweight. And then when he went to light heavyweight, he didn't really dominate as much as he did as a middleweight.
Exactly.
So even though he went to light heavyweight, Anderson Silva,
Silva's greatest stuff was not in light heavyweight. It just wasn't.
How great of a fight would have been Anderson Silva in his prime versus John Bones Jones? It
would have been insane.
Dude, absolutely. Oh my God. Dude, I remember Anderson Silva didn't lose for 12 years. He was ridiculous.
Now, if you're just looking at greatest fighters all time, no matter the division or anything like that, Silva is some people put him number one. There's a lot of people that do, and I wouldn't balk at that aspect. But the question is the greatest light heavyweight, meaning in the time that they were in the light heavyweight, their dominance of it. And John Bon Jones, to me, is better than Silva. John Bon Jones was better than Silva in that division.
Yeah, John Bones Jones.
I can't say John Bones Jones. It's such a tongue twister for me. I don't get it.
Absolutely.
By the way, UFC talk, man. DC retiring after. I mean, I don't know if he really will, but he said it was his last match.
All right, so we're gonna skip over the next one. We're gonna talk about Alex Smith's leg. I think we're just gonna skip that because we've already ran him into the ground. If he ever sees this episode, he might, hire somebody to come after.
Which sucks because I like Alex Smith. I love the guy.
I like him too. And look, I hope he comes out and I hope he makes us all wrong. I hope he makes Michael Buckeister right. I hope they freaking come out and win that division and surprise everybody.
If they come out and go 16-0, it's not going to make Mike any better because all the rest of the division's going to suck ass still. Right. Alex Smith doesn't make the other three teams good. Stupid.
So this last one here, we had a little bit of an argument. So you posted another thing on Sports Soup that
you're attacking me. You stalking me?
If you had one game 7, to win to save your life, and it had a group of 4 pitchers. It had Pedro Martinez, it had Randy Johnson, it had Greg Maddux, and who was
Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens. Okay, so to me, right off the bat, Roger Clemens is out. Of the other 3, I think the other 3 are in the discussion. Yep. Greg Maddux is a great pitcher, but I love Greg Maddux. I absolutely love Greg Maddux, and I think he's a top 5 pitcher all time for sure. I did not stick with him because I thought that out of the two between Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez in their prime, Pedro Martinez was the nastiest pitcher I've ever watched. And you came back at me after I said that and said, "No way, it's Randy Johnson."
You're missing some information here, and I'm gonna walk up and down you top to bottom because I knew you were gonna try to set me up with this bullshit. That question right there that I'm reading on my other screen is Randy Johnson in his prime was a better pitcher than Pedro Martinez's prime. It didn't say anything about Game 7 on the line, who you handed the ball to.
No,
completely different aspect.
That's what the post is, though.
No, it says Game 7 on the line, who you giving. It says nothing about the prime. You just tried to trap me in that crap. And it drives me nuts because I explained clearly at Sports what I meant is that in the aspect of Game 7, ice in your veins coming through. Here's the difference is that we watch Randy Johnson do these things in must-win games. He did in Seattle when it was just getting to the playoffs. He did in Arizona when it was just to win. He continued to do it until the age of like 635 years old. Like, that's unbelievable. Great. And I'm a Sox fan. I'm a Sox fan, and I've got a Pedro Martinez authentic on-field World Series championship jersey. I wore it on my second recording here with you or something like that. On our first live recording, okay? Pedro is fantastic. But Pedro broke down fast, and my Red Sox fans are going to tear me apart. I don't give a shit. In 2003, he started having problems. And in 2004, in Game 7, which was done, they beat the Yankees. They had that game wrapped up. And what do? They bring out Pedro for some reason to be able to get him out there for some redemption. And what happens? He starts giving up hits and runs, and the Yankees fans were all in it. This was in 2004, not 2007, not 2008, and they tried to go to the Phillies and play, and he was garbage. Listen, Pedro Martinez might be in his absolute prime 1999. If it listed all of them and it gave a single year for all four of them, which one would you take? If you said Pedro 1999, without a doubt, he's my pick. But it didn't say that. It didn't say in their prime. So I had to look at the whole career aspect. Randy Johnson as a whole. Do you remember that World Series? Here's the thing. Pedro won World Series with the Red Sox, and he was not the guy that put them on his back. Randy Johnson, along with Curt Schilling, but pretty much Randy Johnson with that Diamondback team, put that whole team on his back and said, hold on, boys, take a big hold of my jock. I'm about to absolutely tear apart this Yankees team. And remember, that was the year that all the country were behind, even the Sox fans, because of 9/11 were behind the Yankees. We jinxed them. Who cares now? But Randy Johnson, steel in his veins more times throughout his career. Pedro was amazing. His prime was in 99 especially. Was the greatest pitcher this game might have ever seen. And then he started to drop after a couple years. Randy Johnson did not have a drop until literally they had to walk him off the field in a old man. I can't even say anything right. In a walker. There you go. An old man walker. That you tried to trap me. You took the post and then you wrote a question differently and you tried to trap me, you bastard.
Look, Randy Johnson at no point in his career was better than Pedro Martinez. He just wasn't. Pedro Martinez was a better pitcher than Randy Johnson. And if it came down to a Game 7, regardless of prime, right now, today, I would take Pedro Martinez over Randy Johnson.
How did that work for the Sox in 2003? How did it work in Game 7 when they wanted to give him redemption in 2004? I'm a Sox fan. I watch this stuff day in and day out. In 03?
All right, so you're a Sox fan, so shut up and let me talk. So Pedro Martinez in 2003, that wasn't on Pedro. That wasn't on Pedro. That was on Grady Little. Don't let him talk you into staying.
Right. It was on Grady Little. Who talked him into staying? And you had to pull Pedro Martinez. You had to pull Pedro Martinez because Pedro wasn't getting it done.
Pedro was dominant.
And he did it. And what happened? It was on Pedro.
You're out of your mind.
Pedro made Grady keep him in, and he gave that up.
All right. So we're moving on to shop talk now that Soup Boss is out of his freaking mind.
I didn't see another pitcher come up and give up those hits and runs. I'm shocked. I can't remember.
Out of your mind. Anyway, shop talk is for you guys here. Shop Talk is our segment where we talk about anything that you guys want to talk about.
All right, Sox fans, I'm laying on.
What do you guys want to talk about? We'll talk about anything you want to talk about. You want to tell him how dumb he is for taking Randy Johnson over Pedro Martinez in a Game 7. I would love to have, my team would kill your team if I had Pedro starting and you had Randy in Game 7.
You're such an idiot.
Scared.
You're such an idiot. The Yankees beat him in 03, and he was a joke in 04. You're a fool. And Randy Johnson took a whole team on his back and said, right on, boys, we're going to go take out the Yankees, who are obviously a better team. And he came in 412 times in that World Series. You're a joke, man. Get up. You're crazy.
Our comment of the week
respect for
Jared Parrott. Comment of the week goes to Jared Parrott. Pedro is better than Randy.
It took Jared Parrott watching the Sox give up 800-plus runs every single day for about 15 days before he finally said, I guess this isn't working. So, of course, he's going to go with that.
He also commented earlier, I didn't put it up there, but he said, screw up by winning.
What?
Screw up by winning today. Oh, Joshua CV texted me this the other day. All right, let's talk about this.
Nope.
Joshua CV says, it's not just better than Allen Robinson. Joshua CV messages me the other day, PMs me, and says that Kenny Golladay is the best wide receiver in the NFC North. and he made me want to puke because he made me freaking say, no, the Green Bay Packers have the best wide receiver in the division in Devontae Adams. And then not only that, but Allen Robinson is better than Kenny Golladay. And not only is he better than Kenny Golladay, so is the guy on Joshua CV's own favorite freaking team, Adam Thielen.
Thielen is better
than Kenny Golladay.
Yep.
You're out of your mind, Joshua. I don't know what it is that you're – I don't know if you're just trying to get me heated. I don't know if you're just trying to spark –
I think he is.
But there is no way that Kenny Golladay is a better receiver than Allen Robinson. He's not better than Devontae Adams, and he's not better than Adam Thielen. He's the best. I'll give you this. He's the best wide receiver in Detroit.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I agree. He's not a bad wide receiver at all. But here's the thing with Joshua CV. For everyone that goes on Sports Soup and joins that page, which I hope you do, Joshua CV is hardcore Skull Nation. Everything is Skull Nation until he finds something that gets under your skin, and then he just loves to go with it. He loves to absolutely go with it. So the fact that he knew that would get under your skin, he won't let it go. He tries to tag me and Sam Darnold and Jets things all the time, and it's just like
wants to know if he's referring to the North Division in Canada. Part-time nerd. What's going on, part-time nerd? He says Joshua ain't wrong. Oh my God,
Allen Robinson, and you and I are opposed on this, but Allen Robinson and the boy in Green Bay, I flipped them around because remember I had Allen Robinson number 2. Look at what Allen Robinson did, and everyone shits on Mitch Trubisky, and yet he was insane last season. He is the best wide receiver in that division. And you're right, Kenny Golladay is the best of the Lions, but he's got 3 wide receivers he's looking up to.
Steven says, sorry, I missed the show, guys. Hey,
just serving our country.
Yeah, do your thing.
That's all.
Our show, you can catch the replay on YouTube at any point, man. So do your thing. I appreciate you coming in and chiming in and showing love. Thank you for your service. Do whatever it is you do out there, and you can watch us anytime. And we need to have a show at some point too.
Look at those arms. I want to call him little brother, and I can't. He also found the gym over there.
Ball out this year. Yeah, he's gonna ball out on a freaking 7-9 team.
Ball out on a 4-12 team.
Yeah, out of his.
Hey, not bad for a wide receiver too, or maybe like a jump and flex on a bye week. Yeah. He's a good quarterback.
Here's the other thing. Stop calling him Babytron.
Babytron. Oh, that's such a disrespect.
He's not even close to Megatron. He's just stop.
Just because he wears the same jersey and he's a big, tall dude does not mean he's in the same caliber. Some people think that Megatron might have been potentially the best wide receiver since Jerry Rice. And some people try to make the argument that he was better than Jerry Rice, for crying out loud. It is not the same thing.
Let's change the subject because Joshua's out of his mind and so is Jared Parrott says, should MLB change the service time rules? I get what he's saying there. So service time being like the Cubs did with
I'm
Chris
lost
Bryant. Chris Bryant. So what
No.
they do is they call up they leave some guys down to minor leagues because if they have a certain amount of days in major leagues, you get an extra year of control. So if they don't play more than 145 games, then you don't get a full service year. Okay. So you get an extra year of control. Should they change the rules? I don't know. Like, I like the idea of playing it smart. However, I was very angry at the Cubs in 2015 when everybody was talking about they're coming up, they're very young team, and they left Chris Bryant down in the minor leagues for the first 15 days or 17 days or whatever it was. He came up like right towards the end of April, and he just lit it up. And he was lighting it up. I think he had that spring. He had like 11 or 12.
I remember that. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. And when they left him down there, I was furious. But then one of my buddies says, "Look, if they go out and say they go and they're in the division and they're thick of the division, even without Chris Bryant, and they bring him up, and now you have an extra year of control on the back end of the contract.
Yep.
It's just smart business, and it's smart business." But I think that you're not. I think that holding a guy back just for that, I think, is wrong. If a guy earns his spot, he needs to be in his spot.
I think this is
from a player's perspective, I would say yes. From an owner's perspective, I would say no. I think that come this bargaining agreement that they need to sign before the end of 2021, or we're going to have another strike, and we're probably going to lose fans forever. I think that in the next collective bargaining agreement, I think that they absolutely will change that. I think that the players are going to win out a lot more than the owners have over the past negotiations. I think the way that they held their feet to the fire during this COVID thing and didn't want to prorate their already prorated pay showed the way that it's going to lean toward this collective bargaining agreement. So I think the players are going to win out. I think the owners are going to win some too. I think we're going to get a whole lot of different rules. I still don't like the 3-batter thing. It came up the other night. So you get a guy.
It's stupid. It's a stupid. I get the aspect of speeding up the game, but you can speed it up other ways. But outside of the whole point, you bring a lefty in to face a lefty, and then to have him face 2 righties right after is stupid. It's dumb.
And that's the beauty of the game. Like that's the whole thing that I'm okay with speeding up the game within the game.
There are dozens of other ways of doing it.
I'm okay with the pitch clock. You want to speed up the game? You know what? Give me shorter commercial breaks. Bet you won't do that.
Well, that's money.
Bet you won't do that. Exactly.
But that's money. But within the game, you can actually do. You just brought it up. The pitch clock. I come and watch the Oklahoma City Dodgers play. They were one of the teams that implemented it first off as a test before they actually did it with all AAA teams, and it dropped 20 minutes off the game. I think he dropped 20 minutes off of a Major League Baseball game, and they didn't make the 3 that the pitchers were coming in and doing 1 batter rotate out. It dropped 20 minutes on the game. My kids loved it. I think they were more into it. We talked about the younger generation, and they loved it. They didn't feel like they were too long. But here's the thing with that rule, with his question. My only challenge is that to me, it's not as big of an. I get, like you brought up Chris Bryant, and I think locally. And really in certain teams you get it, but it's not a national media attention thing like to the aspect of the franchise tag in the NFL, which is just a huge thing. So should they? I'm just with what you said. From the player's perspective, yes. And so I agree with you. They probably will give some, but does it need to be? I don't really think. I don't think it's the end of the world that it's there. Yeah. The franchise tag is something different.
Yeah. If it goes, I'm okay with it. If it stays, I'm okay with it. Jared, I want you to PM me and let me know what the rule is for time and service for this season, because I haven't seen that yet. I don't know with the shortened 60 game. I mean, you can't, if you come up and play 60 games, that can't be a year of service by rule. So did they change it because it's a shorter season? So PM me and let me know that. And I definitely want to have you on soon, Jared, to talk some baseball. So let me know when the next day is that you're available. Probably not Thursday, but Sunday or next week. And we'll get together, have you on, and talk some baseball, because you're somebody I definitely want to talk baseball with. Tim Leonard, same thing. Tim, I definitely want to have you on.
Tim Leonard has a baseball name. It sounds like he's like a reporter for ESPN.
Well,
like
he's
Tim
also
Leonard.
a professor. He's also always grading papers and stuff like that. But he's got some interesting ideas for baseball. And he thinks that he's a thinker. And so he's had some interesting ideas that he's thrown my way. So I want to have him on. Maybe we can have you guys both on at the same time. We'll just have a big old, baseball discussion one day. So
I got a great rule. Don't shit on your young stars when they swing 3-0 and hit a grand slam. How about that?
All right. So Soup Boss, you want to tell these guys where they can find us on social media?
You know it. Hey, guys, we need you to keep doing it. We've got some more subscriptions on YouTube. That's great. On YouTube, Triple Shot Sports Podcast. You'll see the logo. We fought to getting that up towards the top, which is great. Be able, please, like and subscribe. Don't just watch. I appreciate everyone watching, but do us that favor. That's how today's world works. But on Instagram and Twitter, at 3 Shot Sports. The 3 is the number. 3 Shot Sports. We get polls up there, which I'll have polls up there. I'm posting on the off days. I want your comments. Jared, thank you so much on a couple of Twitter posts that he's commented back. We just as much as we want to talk to you guys here, Shop Talk, get on Instagram, get on Twitter, follow us on there, and of course on Facebook, where some of you guys are on the RTF Network page, Sports Network, or on Triple Shot Sports Facebook page. And also Sports Soup is where I'm from. It's why I'm the Soup Boss. Find Sports Soup on Facebook. We now are starting to mingle and migrate a lot of the stuff with TSS as a part of this family. Just makes it that much better. So get on and be a part of all of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you loved our NFC predictions. I'm going to go ahead and mute his mic before he says go Cardinals. And that is all the time that we have for now. So we will see you guys on Thursday with our NFL playoff predictions. And we will talk some he's trying to say go Cubs. And we will talk some baseball and some hockey and probably maybe even have a little bit more basketball talk. I'll watch a couple more games. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys.
Go Cardinals. Go Cardinals.